Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
Check out the news. Thursday, May 6th, we have a couple of red folders with the British pound around 7 o'clock, which is should be behind us now. So we may have some things that may be setting up or have already set up for that. I haven't seen anything yet. And it's pretty much quiet for the rest of the day. And the Forex Factory or the FX Workbook news channel. Let's see, it's got it. Let's see how we get the spot over here. You may not be able to see this one here. I think we'll have to pass on that. I can't seem to. Oh, I don't think you can see it. I'm just going to pass on that one. And just be advised that tomorrow is the non-farm payroll report day. So tomorrow is probably we'll probably have some quiet trading today in preparation for the non-farm payroll reports. So don't be surprised if we don't get a whole lot of trades setups today. We're looking at our RCS tool to see where the strengths are today. We see the Swiss franc and the Australian dollar is relatively strong on the lower time frames. The dollar is weak on all 4 time frames. Japanese yen is relatively weak. So therefore, basically, we'll be trading to the strength of the Swiss and Aussie and to the weakness of the dollar and the yen. We'll see how that goes. Then excuse the dog for barking in the background. If you hear it.
Glad it's not mine this time.
And this is not, it's not yours. So let's go to the charts. Do you see my charts now?
Yes, so we can.
Oh, good. Okay, good. All right. So right now, as we scan through the charts, I'm having to make some adjustments to my charting system because of the being on the laptop. Just don't have quite the real estate, monitor real estate here. So maybe we'll check the, I only have it to the 15-minute charts. Actually, this started quite early. It looks like my computer time, but something's off. But right now, I'm not seeing anything on the main currency pairs. Looking at the British pairs, nothing up to the 15-minute. The indexes, nothing. So this looks like it could be a very quiet morning here. We were saying that the Swiss was strong and the dollar was weak. So let's take a look at and the yen was weak also. Let's take a look at 15-minute Swiss yen, see if there's anything there. And it was scrolling up, and there's just a red zone. Everything's right up into the zone. Wait and see if there's anything happens with that. That was just a trying to say a peak. See if we can find anything. Nothing on that one. And let's see, British. Let's go back and check that chart again here. I usually like looking at the 30-minute and 15-minute chart. This is the 15. The gray ones are the 15 and 30. The gray background ones. Swiss and Aussie, Japanese yen, and US. The New Zealand's kind of weak as well. Euro is strong. So Euro, Swiss, yen, and against the yen and the US. So let's go back to some charts here. So if we can't find anything, we just don't find anything. That's just the way it goes. Swiss yen, let's check the Swiss yen 15-minute. Pretty much up in a zone. See the Swiss with the stronger one to the yen. It's already up into the zone. Nothing there unless it can break through that zone. And let's check moving average on this while we're here. The charts. All my moving averages are in the correct direction. If it can break through this zone, we'll see where we can go with that, possibly on a higher time frame. The zone looks pretty thick. Right now, the zone to price is that's 10 pips. And if we can break through this, let's see if we're in an uptrend or a downtrend on this one. We are in an uptrend. Does have a zone right here. Uptrend. Let's go to a higher time frame, see if we can find where this thing may be going. And I'll have to go to my other charts. Swiss yen, let's take a look at that on the trading view chart. Swiss yen, come over here. Swiss yen, this we have, oops. We're on the Swiss yen, there we go. Let's take it out to a 4-hour chart and see where the highs and lows are on this thing. I'm coming up near a relatively, that's a weekly high right now. Let's see if it breaks this, if it has any place else to go. We're in a high from a long time ago. This thing could just be going up to making new highs. Last time we had anything near this high was back in December of 2015. It's broken June 17th highs. That's 3 years ago. It speaks a little bit to where the dollar's going, where the yen's going. Let's see if we can figure this one out. Let's scroll over. So here's where price is right now. This would be the next target one. This is from a weekly chart. And let's see if I can get my charts up here. Let's see, it's I have a little trouble finding my tools here. There we go. So right now, here's where the price is. Here's where the next, this is a weekly candle that has no wicks at all from all the way up to the 120.91 area. So if it breaks where it is right now, we're looking at the 121.91. I'm going to mark that one. I'll lock that. Go back to a daily chart. Going back to 1 hour chart. Let's see. So basically, if it breaks through where it is right now, it's got a long way to go. Here's the last high right here. This is it right here. Can't get this screen to stop showing up here. So the 120.18 is the key point. Once if we can get a close above the 120.18, we've got a lot higher to go. There's nothing to stop it for a while. So let's go back to the charts. So we mark 120.18. And that's probably right about where, let's see, this is a little bit higher. Yeah, this is right about the same spot. Looking at these little candles right here in the middle. If we could break through that area, we may have a trade that may go for quite a while. Just got to break through this zone. And we'll keep an eye on that. If it does, we may have a nice big trade there. And that's on the Swiss yen. Any questions? I saw there's something in the question box.
Yeah, there's a question there from Pepper. He's basically asking you, he's up 4% for the week. So how do you handle the mindset of don't give your profits back versus don't be afraid to trade? Do you just trade your plan regardless? Or do you quit after a weekly goal is met?
If I'm up 4% by Thursday, if I want to keep practicing, I go into a demo mode. I save the profits. That way you can still keep your hand in the game, keep on practicing. And you may find out that maybe you can trade, keep on trading. But it doesn't hurt to keep practicing, but just be aware that when you're in demo trade, as if it was the real money. But I do not like giving 4% going into the end of the week with 4% profit. And my weekly target is 3%. And if I'm in on a Thursday morning at 4%, 9 times out of 10, if I try and push that, I usually end up giving more of it back than I keep. So all I say is don't get greedy, but keep on practicing. That would be my suggestion. That's what I try to do. A 3% gain a week will serve very well over time. And just the emotions, I mean, some weeks you just, because there's going to be other weeks when, and the other thing is if you're having a really tough week, just sort of, again, if things aren't working out, just go into demo mode. There's nothing wrong with doing demo to help save profits and keep on practicing. But just remember that when you're practicing in demo, treat it as if it's a real thing, because think of it this way, you want your consistency to be more important to you than the money. If you have the consistency, the money will come. If you can't keep the consistency, whether you're in demo or whether you're in real life live accounts, you're not going to be able to grow the live accounts. So I would, but if I have to choose between winning small amounts and being consistent in demo, I'll take the consistency, because I want to prove to myself that I can keep on trading the plan, recognizing the pitfalls, and staying out of the potholes, and still keep on the main road. You're going to be losing trade. There's enough trades that you're going to lose even with the best laid plans. But don't give up profits. If you're profitable at the end of the week, just don't get greedy. That's my theory. That's what I try to do. I don't always do it myself, but that's what I suggest. That's my suggestion. Let's see. Hope that answers your question, Pepper. Let's see who else we have around here. Let me just check some things here real quick. Go through and see if there's anybody here that I need to be looking at or looking for. Nope. And let's see. Again, nothing on either of the Euro charts. British. There's a 5-minute British Aussie. Let's take a look at that. Oh, that might be a British Aussie 5-minute chart. So let's take a look and see what the direction is. Let's get our moving averages up for starters. Try it again. Try and get a rhythm going. You pull the chart up, get your chart set, take a look and see what you have. Immediately I see we have a down arrow with a lot of room. We also have this long big wick, which means this down move has already been tested, it's already been bounced off. You have the up arrow, which was pretty much rejected, and we have all this consolidation right here in the middle. This is not a pretty picture. Things are all over the place. You actually have a zone. You're looking at a range from here to here. I mean, this is just a mess. Oh, I see no reason. The fact that we already had the strong move down was tested. And if we look in to see where our moving averages are, you can see the 200s kind of flat. Everything is all consolidated and jumbled up right in this area. I'd be more apt to believe an uptrend on this one, just because this thing was already shot down, rejected, came back up, and now this is putting like a little bit of a wedge. If I were to be in favor of this, even though there may be more zones to the upside, let's see if there are. There probably are. Looks like 2 zones to the top, 1 to the bottom. This is on a 5-minute. Let's see what it looks like on a 15-minute chart. Okay, it's a little bit better on 15. We have an uptrend on the 15. It was a downtrend on the 5-minute. This zone was already tested. I said it's just a mess. Let's see, arrow up. We have a zone here. That's on the 15-minute. Or the 5-minute. Same zones. It's still the same zone, so we can move that up just a little bit higher here. Here's our money zone. Here was yesterday was an inside candle. If you just look at just the money zone shaded area, you can see we had a high here, a low here, a lower high, a higher low. You actually have you could actually probably almost draw a trend line from the low of this money zone to this one. It's not something I usually do, but it's something to take note of and see. So now today, on this day, so there was a extended range candle, inside candle, and now this one broke, but it didn't, and it actually gave a little bit of a diversion from this point, from this bottom of this zone, made a new low in this zone, but right now it's all consolidating. It's trying to fix into see which way it's going to go. It is making lower highs. It's a little different way of looking at things. It did break through all this, but it's right now just have to wait and see what happens out of this mess. Right now it's consolidating. It's pretty much right in between. If you drew Fibonacci between here and here, you're going to find out you're going to be right about in the 50% range, where it's a question now whether it's going to, it already tested the bottom. Now the question is, it come back up and retest the top, or is it just going to sit here sideways for the rest of the day? So that's just ugly. I'm just going to even do that one any more time. And let's see, here's a British Aussie 5 minutes. Was that an old one? That was at, let's see, that was about 5:45 this morning. That was way earlier this morning. Nothing new there. 1 minute chart, I'm not even going to play around with that too much. I'll go to the 1 minute chart to try and fine tune an entry or to fine tune an exit, but other than that, I'm not going to play with the 1 minute charts.
Judson's telling us that the U.S. Swiss, the on the 1 and the 5 minute, the support zones have just disappeared.
The U.S. Swiss,
Yeah.
U.S. You're looking at one. I think that's one I was looking at earlier. U.S. Swiss 5 minute. You said.
I'm assuming the 15. He said the support levels from the 1 and the 5 have disappeared.
Oh, okay. So here's the 15-minute chart, US Swiss. It's right here at the 15-minute zone. So that's not going anywhere. Let's see what we see. It's in a downtrend. And my moving average will probably confirm that. And we are all the moving averages strongly in the downtrend. This looks like the move's already pretty much. Here was a bounce arrow, another arrow, double arrow. If you have the 2 arrows, you can go to a lower time frame to try and tweak the entry a little bit or try to get in. That was way back here several hours ago. That was roughly 18 candles ago on a 15-minute chart. So that's 4.5 hours ago. So there's nothing there. Way out of the chute. If you could have caught that one down here, that would have been a nice little move if you were up at that time of the day. I've given you a nice little run. Everything was moved. You had the arrows, everything crossing over, continued to cross over, and you could have followed this little yellow line all the way down to your target, or you could just take in your 20 pips or your 7 pips, whatever it is your target was. But that's already done. That's not going anywhere right now. So that's.
Once it gets through that current zone, is there room for a downward movement?
Well,
I know it won't sag by then, but
yeah, that's we can check out and see here if there's another zone down below. I have to go to a higher time frame and see. Yep, there's another zone right. So this is the bottom of the zone. There's another one right here. See, this is on the 4-hour chart. That's 27 pips. Yeah, but it's gonna have to get through. This is the zone right here. That's the bottom of it. Let's go back to a 5-minute and see where that zone one disappeared, but it's still on the 15. Let's see if we can do anything with this. That's 15 pips. You're going to have 15 pips to get through that zone. I don't think it's going to be an easy go. So in 5 minutes, let's see what it looks like in a 1 minute here. Actually, I prefer to look at this thing on a trading view chart here. Let me do that US Swiss on trading view. Let's see what we can find here. We'll keep an eye on, see if there's any other alerts that come through. US Swiss. Try this chart. Load it up. US Swiss. 15-minute. Over. Go to higher time frame. And go to a daily and see what the daily is looking like here. From a daily standpoint, here's the daily chart, and you can see that there's a strong move up on the daily, little basing. So right here is the origin. This came up, closed up here, wicked down a little bit. Next day it came on up. So now it's just coming down to retest this little zone right in here on the daily. So it's got to get through this area. It's got to get through this wick. If it can get through that wick, this would be the next target. So from a daily standpoint, and it may not happen all at the same time, but this would be the next target area. And so from this point to, measure that out, from this one down to, you're looking at roughly 25 pips. If it breaks through this, the 190.71 area, if it can break through 190.71, the next target area would be somewhere around 190.48. And that's basically 20 pips after it breaks through that area. It does have some downward pressure. If we look and see, let me see where some of these other moving averages are. Moving averages are in a good position. How about a Fibonacci? Let's take a look at a Fibonacci, possibly see what that may tell us. Here's the origin. Here's the retracement. We'll see how far down it comes. And I'll draw the Fibonacci from low to the high. And this is on a daily chart. So I'm going to make this as my higher time frame Fibonacci. It's a higher time frame. So now I've got here's my upper 25%. Here's my lower 25%. And right now it's passing through the 61.8 retracement to the downside. That's a strong, deep move. And see, here's the drop. Here's a little basing drop. Now the basing is starting to flatten out a little bit. You can start seeing where it's not, the angle is real sharp here, and it's starting to sort of cup over a little bit. It's not getting, the highs are getting a little bit higher, and the lows are getting not as low. From here to like to this one, we see that we had, I'll make this one the higher, my lower time frame Fibonacci. Now I have two different colors, so I can see how they overlap into a 15-minute chart. And you see where the different colors overlap. Those are low energy points. And so, did I get that in the right color? Let me go back and see that. There you go. That's better. I'll take these daily markers off. Oh, boy. I can find my chart thing here. Well, I can't get rid of those blue lines because I can't get to the tag for it, but we'll just have to work with it, I guess. So here's where's the end of my Fibonacci? Here's my Fibonacci. Here's the 38%. Here's the 23% retracement, came back down. Drop down another percent, drop down, tag 23%, drop down some more. Tag the 50% off the other one, off the main line, still hanging around with the 23%. You can see where these two lines are kind of overlapping a little bit. Those are energy points. And now it's right into the demand zone, which we're trying to decide if it's going to break through. And retrace 23%. It could keep on going down. Let's see what the strength is on this one. Strength is still on let's go back to a 15-minute chart and see where the strength is on that. This thing's still going south on that. Still the short strength to the Swiss franc. That's the grayer line down here. This thing still could keep on going down. This one has a lot of downward pressure. And this would be where's where I miss having my bigger monitors. Let's go to 1 hour and see where I can find where things are. Any alerts coming through yet, gang? While we're doing this?
No, nothing yet.
Thank you.
I do have a question for you, however,
Okay.
from Mosin. I guess he's looking to do some swing trading. He wants to do the set and forget. So he's just asking, like, should he be doing possibly the 1 hour, the 1 day? Is there a trading strategy? Any thoughts would be great.
I think if you're doing a swing trading, I would probably be looking at a focus time frame. It depends on what you call swing trading, what your swing trading time frame is. The higher the time frame, the larger the stop, the smaller the positions to maintain balance within your account. I guess when I think of swing trading, I think usually more like a 1 hour chart is my lower time frame. Somewhere between a daily 4 hour and a 1 hour. Try and get in as fine tuned as you can. Try and get as tight of a stop as you can. But usually, especially like with the arrow charts for swing trading, they're looking at pretty much of a 50 pip target, 100 pip stop. So I guess whatever time frame gives you that ratio, that's probably not a bad place to start. And oftentimes, if you find out what the daily range of a pair is, let me see. I think they have it even here on these charts what the daily ranges are. Put that down here. The average daily range on these, they're looking at. So depending on what the pair is, it'll show you what their daily range is. I say if you can figure out, you should be able to look at a daily chart as your focus chart, try and fine tune it to a 1 hour And then, but expect to be in it for a couple of days or maybe in a couple of weeks. So that would be my suggestion. And then just set and forget it. It's just a set. You try and find a daily supply zone, a daily demand zone. That top 25%, try and catch the middle part of it, and just set it, trying to catch the direction, and just set it and let it go. And try not to watch it too much.
We just received 3 alerts, but they're all under 10 pips away from the next zone. So
Okay, let's see, where is that? Must be British, Aussie, British CAD.
no, I've got a CAD yen, Aussie CAD, and a Aussie yen.
You got them on the 15. There's a CAD yen.
On the
or is Aussie CAD? Aussie.
Yeah, Aussie CAD.
Aussie CAD. Let's see what that one looks like here. And I'll go back to that trading view chart and we'll continue with that exercise that we were working on here. Yeah, that's only 7 pips away. Looking at the moving averages, first thing I do, try to remember to put those on before I start drawing anything, because as soon as I do, and then I forget that I have to, I usually look at if there's a zone or if there's a 200 moving average, I'll always target the 200 moving average as my first bounce point, because it's going to have a little bit of a trouble. They've already got through it here once, bounced off of it. And so right now we have a little trend on here. So it's just getting tighter. The trend's just getting tighter from here. Here's the anchor, here's the hit, here's the trend line. And you can see it's just now coming into the 3rd hit of the trend line on the upside. And then we have this wick down below. I'm going to use this one. This was extended range. I'm going to use this wick. This, I mean, you can, well, there's actually 2 you could probably use. You can use this one to this one and draw it out. I kind of like that one's the best one I like. This one's sort of like, this seems more like a news move where it just came right down, came right back up again, hunting for stops. And then it was hunting for stops, tried to get everybody to fake out down here. Then you see it came and broke to the upside. And right now it's got lower high, higher low, and right now it's inside this channel. If you were to try and take it from here, you can run up into the wick. You're also going to run into the 200 moving average. That's only 4 pips away, not enough, you'll barely get your spread taken care of. And to the target of 6 pips, not enough room. Don't like that trade, just too tight, too range bound. Then stay away from that one. That one will get you into trouble. So that one's out. Aussie CAD is out. And what were the other ones that you had there, Eva?
Aussie yen.
Aussie yen. Let me take this one. Aussie yen, 15 minutes. Try to take a peek at that one. Draw my first point. Draw get my moving averages in there so I see what kind of range it's doing. It's in an uptrend, it bounced off. So all of my price right now is above my arrow moving average. It's above my 200 moving average. That looks good. We do have from here's the arrow to this side, only 7 pips. I'd like 15. If we're up to here, I'd probably take it. With this little zone right now, I don't like it. And with this moving average from here, the trend line from here, here's the anchor, here's the hit. There's the trend line, comes on up, it breaks through the trend line, hits this, and rejects. And now we have the same scenario we have down below. Again, you're going to see a lot of this today, I think, because before the news announcement, especially on the U.S. pairs. So here we have, there's a anchor, here's a near hit, here's a hit, a low, higher low, here's a high, lower high, range bound right in here. And the range between this area, if I just came from the next candle area, you're only looking at a range of 14 pips entirely inside this zone. At best, you can maybe do is, if we're in an uptrend, which we are, is wait for it to pull back, test this trend line here, and hopefully it wouldn't be too far down the road before it hits this trend line. But right now, as this one comes down, if you get 2 candles coming down, it's going to bring you right about to this point. And then you have about 2 candles coming up. You're only looking at a 10 pip swing at best if you get lucky. And if you look and see where the trend line is with this, where the trend is, we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 green, 3 red. And that's about the same there. Actually more green now, if you just scroll out. So we are in an uptrend. But I'd be waiting, if it's in an uptrend, I'd be waiting for a pullback at best to the trend line to, or maybe even a breach of the trend line possibly, but to take it to the upside. We'll see if it can break out of that, but right now it could possibly take this zone out, but you got this other zone right on the other side of it. It's just a low probability trade. The yen pairs can really bite you. In fact, listening to Tyler with his gearbox, he's pulled most of the yen pairs off of the gearbox just because they just weren't profitable enough to the risk reward on it just wasn't there. And I tend to agree with that on. That's what I've seen with the yen pairs. I'm not a big fan of them.
Me either.
And just certain pairs just have certain characteristics. We'll keep this open here just to keep an eye on it.
And then there was the CAD yen as well.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Oh, this one looks a little bit. This one looks a little bit better already. There's a little bit more room to the upside. There's. Well, it looks like a little bit more room, but it's really only 9 pips. My minimum, I usually like somewhere. I'll take 14. I usually like to see 15 or more, because I'm only going for 7 pips. If there's like 14 pips, I may find a spot over here that will get me 5 or 6 or 7 pips. A lot of times I'll cut it off at 5. This only has 9, not enough room. And looking again at the, let's see the trend. Figure out, get my template up. My moving averages look like they are moving nicely in the right direction. The arrows, the 200 is all the way down here, so that's good. So that looks like it's definitely in an uptrend. It crossed over, it's starting a new uptrend here. Now, maybe in between trends at the moment, but no, it's definitely in an uptrend. And let's see. We have a trend line. So here's the origin of this move up. There's the anchor. Here's the hit. We got a little bit of a breach there. I'll accept that little breach here off of this hit. There's a rejection here, another rejection. Now we're trying to figure out where the next rejection of this one is. We can actually draw a fib line off of this. See where across the 200 moving. Let's see what time frame we're on here. We're on 15 minute. Okay, so we're on a 15 minute. Draw a fib line. We're in an uptrend. There's low to high. We're going to pull back to the 671, 76.4%. Bounced off of that. That's right where the trend line is. So there's a little bit of an energy point here. You have a Fibonacci line and a bounce off the trend line. That's one reason I kind of like that one. But I'll use that one because of that. This is a little stronger energy point there. And here's the 38%. So it came back down, retested. This is almost like a flag pattern. Now the question is this going to come down and retest the trend line? Maybe even go lower. Right now I'm thinking it still has momentum to the upside, but it's also going to run into a little bit of a problem up around in this area. I'm looking at the top 25. Right now I'm seeing this thing going sideways. And if I look and see, I'm looking at the top 25% of that move up. Strong move up, retraced, came back down. Here's the lower 25%. And actually came back even into the lower 11%. There's the area right in there. So that area held. I'll just take it on up to 25. This is lower 25% here. Here's the upper 25% of the stronger move up. And this is our play. This is right now, this is the playground. When it comes down here, I say you can take it long. If it comes up here, you could probably take it short down. And I would expect that there's going to be a, let's see, it's coming up to, it came right up to the 38% of this rejection, came back to 38%. Now this thing could start going on down. It couldn't pass through the 38% of this, so it's making a little bit lower highs. You see it rejected off that fib line right there. That's an energy point right in that area. I could draw that. Let's try this again. Point right there is kind of a something to pay attention to. I make that a little color here. I can see my drawing skills here. Let's see what that candle does. Let's look at it on a 5-minute chart. That's too much. Get rid of that ellipse. So right now it could be starting to form a fractal right here. If this candle closes lower and opens up a little lower, we'll have a fractal. This thing could start coming on down and start making it across to the 50. Could be coming down to the 61 for the bounce off of this target right here. But right now there's no real clear direction. We have an up arrow, not enough room. This is on the 5-minute. This one might actually, that's one's a little bit better on the 5-minute. But I said we still have some of these zones to go through. If it breaks through this, here's where the entry was on the 5-minute. That was back way, that's around 7:30. That's about the time we got started. And you don't have to be in a hurry to take these trades. A lot of times, even when you get the arrow, you can see even like we had the arrow, but did get a pullback. It's actually forming a little bit of a wedge there. Here's a low, here's a hit, rejection. There aren't any zones right now until on the 5-minute. That's kind of interesting. There's really nothing on the 5 before the. You got enough room here on the 5-minute, pretty much. Well, that's only 9 pips, though. That's still not great. Origin strong move down, putting down, retesting this little area right in here. If it breaks above here, it comes back and retests the trend line, but it's kind of going in the wrong direction. Actually, that's a little bit of a channel. You got a little high, a little bit higher. This one just made a little bit of a higher high. It's actually having a little bit of a channel going on. I still feel better if I see it pull back to this trend line. If I can break this one, come back, retest this, then it might be a little bit of a shot up here. But right now, it's just a little bit too close. We'll keep an eye on this one. Any other questions? So keep an eye on that one. Keep an eye on this one. It's breaking here, still up in the trend line, still nothing there. Do we have what we're looking at with this one? Moving average is going. Well, this is the one that had a whole lot of room to the downside, I think. If it broke. Trying to get the crossover here. We might get a little pullback on the 1 minute chart. Now we're starting to get the green and yellow crossover. This thing could come back up. It's starting to form. Still has lower highs, have a little bit of a trend line. It's kind of following this blue arrow moving average. So if we have a pullback we can get with this. Where's our money zone? I'm not even seeing the money zone on this. Maybe we're in it too much. There we go. This one I'd pretty much like to see a strong, I'd like to see a retracement on this one before I got into it short. Little drop, here's a little bit of a retracement, bounce back. This is still all kind of one strong move coming down. I'd wait for a pullback to see if it retests this area. Right now it's in the green zone. If it breaks, we don't know where it's going to go. It may give us an arrow when it if it breaks this zone here. And this one is starting to, this was the one we were looking at where it had a whole lot of room to the upside if it could break through here. Looks like it's trying to. There goes the zone. We're Swiss 1 hour. Let's see what it looks like on a 15-minute chart. This one had all kinds of upward trend, I think, when we looked at this on the trading view. Swiss yen, let's take a look and see what our charts are saying on this one. Swiss yen. A lot of strength there. Put this back on a 15-minute chart. Swiss is strong by 2. It's propagating. A different chart here. What's the Swiss yen I'm looking for? A lot of strength, a lot of strength, a lot of strength. I'd like to see this thing pull back a little bit and see if it will make another run for the upside. And it may have just broken out of that zone just to get a head fake to pull everybody into it, only to take their stops out and then go back up. Mark 120.25. This one's tempting to take it, but I just don't know when it's going to actually, if this is a head fake or not. We did have a zone there. That's gone. There's really nothing else stopping it. We had a nice little run here. Here's the pullback. Rally, base, rally, come back. It may retest this zone, retest the yellow moving average, and then try and catch it. This thing's starting to trend, so I'd like to see it catch a pullback before I try and just jump into it. I'll take it from about this area, moving average, the Fibonacci's up that way. And I'd like to see it come back into this 38% retracement. That would give us lots of room so that if it comes back to the retracement area, it'll still give us lots of room to the where it is right now. That'll give us 22 pips. I see it pull back at least to the 23, preferably to the 38. I'd like to see it actually come down, wick to the 38, and then take it to the upside. And the higher it goes, the wider these areas are going to spread out to give us a little bit more range in between these levels, Fibonacci levels. And that's about all I have to say about that. We'll keep an eye on this one. Swiss yen, I like this one for a breakout, but it's I don't usually like breakouts. I usually like seeing as a pullback before the breakout. Anything from 23%, I'm willing to take it long. If it gives me enough room to where the high was, it's 15 pips to the 23%. If it can pull back 15 pips, I've got 5 pips to the target. I may take that trade on the pullback. We'll see how that looks. We'll keep an eye on that one. I don't see anything else on our charts here. Nothing there, nothing there. Questions?
There
Comments?
aren't any at the moment. I'm just looking through the different charts as you're showing these things.
Al, on that Swiss yen, are there any zones above? Like, where's the next zone above that one, or is that at an all-time high?
It's not an all-time high, but it's right now. If it breaks this, it's going to break a 3-year high.
3-year high. Okay.
Yeah, this high was last time was tested was right around 2017, which is I'm not sure what month it was, but roughly about 3 years ago. So that's a whole new ball game right here.
Okay.
So and once it breaks that, we're going all the way up to probably 121. So this thing this thing still has some steam to it, but it's not going to be a straight shot up there. But from a weekly chart, there was absolutely nothing to stop it to about another 100 pips above.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. We'll see how much this thing pulls back. Let's tighten this up a little bit here so I can. Let's see, this was a nice little retracement here from this one. It came right down to the 38% retracement. You see how it wicked down here? It came back. That was a nice little entry for that. And if you had to close here, you got this target, close above. You have that target, close above. You got the zero line.
Right.
And coming on up to the 38%. So this thing could actually come up to that 38%, from the 38% retracement to 30% extension.
Okay.
But it may come back and it's not a straight shot right here. If it can come back down to 23% retracement off of this up move to that area, I'd be willing to maybe take that trade, because there's still be enough room from here to the upside to get some pips out of that. And if it breaks you all the way up to you could have another shot at, if it comes back into here, you have a shot at 20 pips up to the 38. We'll see where this thing stops, see how far it pulls back.
I mean, the moving averages are so fanned out. They didn't even remotely, the 5 didn't remotely come to the 13.
The 5, I don't understand. What was that? The 5? Oh, this 5.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. They're starting to, you can see they're starting to spread out here. They're spreading out. And so right now it's supporting this moving average.
Right.
So if it comes back to the 13 moving average, which is right here, here's an energy point. This is a Fibonacci line right here. If it pulls back to into this zone, it gets back into this blue zone, wicks down, comes back out, can't close above, I'm into that trade. And I'll go in for at least 5, maybe even no. Then you can maybe just run it on up until it hits the 38 or get you back to break even. It's pretty slow on the alert stage today. Like nothing.
Yeah, it's a slow day for them.
Which doesn't, like I said earlier, is for non-farm payrolls tomorrow, and there's going to be a lot of just small moves today, I think. How are cryptos doing today? What's Bitcoin doing? 57. It's sort of range bound right there. Let's see. How about the German 30? We like trading that one a little bit.
Yeah, we
Anything
do.
there?
I haven't seen any alerts, mind you, but that's okay.
Let's see. Let's take a look and see where the moving averages are. We're going to be on I'll check it on the 15 minutes. German 30 worked out pretty nicely yesterday. Matt had a nice trade that he had. I don't know if he took some heat on before it broke, but I think if he stayed in it, he had a nice little run on it.
You guys, did you see Matt in the room after? Oh, on his session you're talking.
Well, he did in our session, but then he had the 9 o'clock session afterwards, which he was probably still in that trade during that time. I think he probably would have gotten out of it by then, but during that time. But here's a nice drop retracement. So here we actually have a little bit of I'm kind of liking. So I'm going to look and see where I like this move up. Retracement, it bounced. Up move. Came back down to the, broke 38, came back down almost at the 50, retraced back to 23. So now we have a bit of a down move. Let's see. So let me draw another Fibonacci. Hopefully I can do this better on the trading view. Let's see where these double blue lines are. See where they. So here's a double line right here. Here's a double line right here. It came back to the, let's see, what is that one? That is the, it's probably 38%. No, that's 50%. That one, just see how this thing pulls back. Did it break through the moving averages? Right now, the price is below all the moving averages. The lower moving averages are pulling down. And right now, we're looking to see if this thing's going to start making some new lows. As it breaks through the bottoms. Here's a retracement to the 50%. So this thing could be a 50% target down here. If this retracement keeps on going. Looking at that being a target. See if it pulls back. It's got to break through this area right here. Now we got this 200. Put it on a 5 minute, see where we got. We have a nice little zone right there. Did you imagine that? And that was formed, this one was formed by this bounce off of it. Yeah, this was the bigger move right here. Couldn't quite make it to that. So now we have double layer zone right now. Let's see what the, so we can't really use it with our heat map with that. Now with that zone right there, you can't really do much with it. As a strong move down, strong retracement. Could start getting another bounce off of here for it to go back up again. Here's a low. Here's a higher low. Here's the trend. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be looking at this little bounce. There's a strong move down, pivot up. Strong move down, pivot up. Let's see, looks like this is going to be, I'll use this one. I'll use this one for the anchor. Here's the hit. There's the trend line. Here's the anchor down below. Here's the anchor. Here's the 78% retracement type of thing, right in that 11%, actually 89% retracement. So that held. So here's our little wedge. Now if it can, is right now it's going sideways inside this range, lower highs, higher lows. It's got to break out of this area, and if it can break out of this area, come up. If it comes up to the 38, closes, I may take a shot at the 50. If it comes up to the 50 and closes above the 50, I may take a shot at the 61. And at that point, I'll be looking for another reversal if the strength stays in that direction. We're getting the crossover of the moving averages. The 5 and the 13 are starting to cross. Here's our W. Here's the first leg of the W. Here's the middle of the W. Here's our second leg. W. Here's the first leg, the middle, bottom leg. If it can break through this area, this price right here, goes above that 38%, I think we might be seeing this thing going on up to the upside. Strong. There was a strong move up yesterday, came back down, retraced it. We could get an up arrow with this. There's an arrow right there of the 23. It's probably going to go up to the 31, 38. $17, 17 euro move. I guess these are in euros. Here's a bounce arrow. This is on a 1 minute, so you have to be respectful of that. This is the one that's got to break through. Let's take a look at this on our trading view. German 30. Yeah, I have it here someplace. Take a look at the 15-minute. Computer's running a little slow today.
That
Coming right up to a moving average here on the 5-minute. That's the 62. Okay, I like it to the upside. Move down. This is the triangle on the bottom that we were looking at here, from here to here to here to that one. I'm just going to flat top that. This is the area I want to see a breakthrough, but it has all these little wicks over here. But from a Fibonacci standpoint, here's the high, here's the low, and we have the retracements. And my 38% price is coming up. It hasn't quite hit the 30% yet. Take a 5-minute chart. Bouncing right off the 62, right by the 38% line. If we can get a close above the 62 across the 38, we may be looking at the 50, but there may not be a lot of room by that time, but we'll see. As you have 15,171. Well, you got $20, so that's good. That would be enough to take the trade. And put the euro on, see how the euro strength is on this. It's thinking. And the euro is strong on the, that's the red one. The euro is a 6 out of the 7. I'm not sure how the German 30 plays with the euro. I get a chance to find out this way. In fact, let's put the US dollar on along with this. Oh, the euro just about neck and neck with strength. In about 2 more minutes, we're going to have an answer with this, whether or not it's going to wick up to the 30 or to close above. I'm liking this to the upside right now. I actually may have a trade here. Six more seconds, couldn't close above the 30. 38. That's the 1 minute chart. Probably couldn't do it on the 5 minute either. So there's another 47 seconds on the 5 minute chart. $62 still holding, can't close above the 62. Right now we have a little bit of a trend right here. Here's the anchor, here's the hit, here's the second hit. Not quite a hit, but close. There you go. Now anchor, here's a hit, rejection. Right at the 38% line. So far, no trade. Now we could possibly take it short down to here, but I'm not of that nature to do that with all the moving averages moving like they are. Look at the 1 minute moving averages, they're probably all in the right direction here.
We've got some alerts that came through, Al.
Oh, thank you.
We've got 3 of them. We got New Zealand US, New Zealand CAD, and Aussie CAD. So I can
New Zealand. Okay, why don't you take a look at the New Zealand US.
Okay.
And what were the other two? Aussie?
Aussie CAD and New Zealand CAD.
Aussie CAD and New Zealand CAD.
Yeah.
Aussie CAD on 15 minute? Wow. Why am I seeing that?
Yeah.
Huh.
Just came through.
Aussie CAD. Nope. New Zealand CAD.
All right, New Zealand is a no-go. New Zealand, US, it's almost right into the zone.
New Zealand CAD is in the zone. Nope, not seeing anything there either.
No.
Although this one's about trying to break through this zone here. New Zealand CAD 15-minute. Let's see where our moving averages are on this. This one could break through and maybe give us a shot, but I'm not overly optimistic on this one.
Yeah.
We have the break. Go ahead.
I was just going to say this one here has two quite wide zones right underneath each other. So this is a no-go.
Okay.
Sorry.
And this one is 15 pips. It's got to get through this. By the time it gets through this one, it's only got 7 pips. How's our strength on this New Zealand CAD? Let's take a look at that. New Zealand CAD. Ooh, okay. New Zealand CAD. So strength to the downside, strength to the downside. This might break through that zone.
Huh, look at that.
And this is, we're about 10 minutes away from wrapping this session up. This one is a possibility. It's got, boy. Question is, will this zone hold? Let's see where we at with the 5-minute here. Same thing there, same thing.
The Aussie CAD, Al, when you have a moment, it's really, really strong to the downside. It only has 2 zones going up, 2 green zones, and it's almost through the first one. So I don't know, this might be trade worthy, probably, I don't know, I'd have to say in like half an hour from now. But
Yeah, it's only got 2 pips to this major zone. This is where this thing came back down. It would
yeah,
have to retest that. It was a lot of rejection. You have a lot of rejection coming in. And that's only 10 pips away. So it would have to break through this entire wick in order to make that happen. And
yeah.
I don't know that. I would say I'm be more apt to think this thing's going to go more like this. Probably
How
retest that
strong it is to the
before it goes to the
downside.
upside. Well, I'm thinking maybe more of a trend line. I think this it's either going to challenge either go like this flat or it's going to come up a little bit there, retest this, and then come back up again. You have this zone right here. I'll pass on that one.
Well, for now, yeah, but what I'm saying is, have you not seen how much strength there is to the downside? And there's nothing under that bottom green zone. So once it gets through there,
Let's
what are
see.
your thoughts on that?
Let's see. Here we have strong, lots of downward pressure there. There is nothing on that one. Let's see where we have to go to find a zone. Gilly. Looks like this next zone would be down here at the.
Which is like 80 pips away.
Is that 80? Is that what that much? That's yes. Right now, from where it is right now, it'd be 137 pips. Yeah, I say if it can break through this zone right here, we may have a good shot. This is on a daily chart. This would be more of a swing trade type of thing, though. 100 pips. What's our template here? Nice strong move down there. Let's go back to our lower time frame. See what it looks like. Oh, there's our 200 all the way up there on the 1 hour. Oh boy, you've got a hit here. You have a hit here, rejection, hit, rejection, hit, rejection, hit, rejection. You get a lot of rejection right in this level, right in here. That's only 13 pips away. Maybe you'll get 5 pips out of it and see. Aussie CAD was real strong too, right?
Yeah, I
That
think
was
that CAD was
that
at
was
the
the
top.
strongest.
Huh?
And Aussie's down at the bottom. So that's a little bit like the New Zealand CAD too.
Yeah,
Um,
it's worth watching to see if it gets through that
yeah,
zone.
I think it's kind of tempting to see. Maybe go for 5 pips possibly. I think I'm going to pass. I've had a good day yesterday. I don't want to give it all back. It's not enough to make me jump for joy on it.
No, I'd be inclined to set an alert for it to
Yeah.
go through the bottom zone and then check it out at that point. And I might be tempted to take it then.
I think with this one right here, I might be tempted to maybe put a buy if I can see a pullback. If I can see this thing starting to pull back, maybe put a buy stop right underneath that zone. Or excuse me, a sell stop. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Well,
So I want to see either break it and maybe get a little rejection and then try and catch this part down here.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd only go for 5 pips. But you have everything moving in your favor. You could go from here to there. That's 12 pips. So your yellow line could be your stop area. Could be your entry. So probably if you use your magenta line for your stop, you could use the breakout for your entry. Then you go then from the entry to your green zone, you get 5 or 6 pips. They do have the strength to your favor on this one. All the moving averages are strong. We haven't really had any. We had a strong basing right here.
Well, let's try.
Yeah, it's got the momentum to its side here. What time is it here? It's almost
7 minutes.
half hour before the U.S. market opens. So this could be a little bit of a early market move for the Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar strength to the downside, which is strong to the Canadian dollar is the second currency of the pair. That was our strongest currency on our chart. And so since it's the second currency of the pair, that's the strength to the currency to the downside. I don't see that changing much. New Zealand CAD, let's take a look at that on the trading view. So aren't we glad we didn't take this one long up here? New Zealand CAD.
Doing its thing there.
New Zealand CAD we're looking for. Let's see, switch this to New Zealand CAD. That's buried, that's buried, that's buried.
Is it the New Zealand or the Aussie CAD?
Well, I had both actually.
I think it's the Aussie CAD. The Aussie's only got one. It blew through that green zone. It's now heading to the second one. And under that, there's not a whole lot going on. But there's a ton of red above it.
Yeah, well, actually, it was both of them. The New Zealand and the Aussie both were in the good. Let's see. Oh, so let's take them both out here. And then we're about out of time.
Yeah.
New Zealand, Aussie, New Zealand. Oh, wait, no, Aussie CAD. There we go. Aussie CAD. They're both pretty much the same. It looks a lot of the same. Aussie CAD, Aussie.
that strong downward or
Yeah, a little bit of a rejection from that point. It is still kind of buried.
but that's just the 1 minute. It's going to do a lot of that though.
6 and 2, 6 and 1, 6 and 1. Strength to the dollar or to the CAD. I think it's going to make the 5 pips, but I don't want to jump in. I'd like to see the 1 minute pull back a little bit and then finish off. But I don't know. It could just go right through. I mean, right now I'd say it's, if you're in it short, you're probably pretty happy. I don't know where to get in with it right now. Here's a little bit of a pullback starting to come up here. If I can see this thing come on up and hook, if it can come up to the yellow line and get rejected, then we could maybe take it. We have this little wick right here. How much room do we have there? 95, we're at. Actually, I need to get this on a different chart. Aussie CAD. And we're at 94.74 to 63. We have 11 pips from right now to the I like it for a scalp, but it's you're a little bit late to the party. But if it can break through that, you've got a long way to go. There is a lot of strength to the downside. Biggest thing is if this is going to take this whole wick out, back out, the retest this whole wick, or the bar is going to come in somewhere in between. So I'm passing. And with that, I think we're about done for the day here. And I'm not sure who's doing the Thursday session. If anybody is, let's say go over there and find out. And with that, I'm going to see if there's any other questions here. Thank you, Eva. Thank you, Eva. And I see Christine had to leave early today.
Yeah.
So thank you for all your help. And let's see.
No problem.
There's that. Let's see. So with that, folks, we're going to wrap it up today. Take a look at this. I mean, if you're gutsy enough, take that trade. It's you know, I'm not that gutsy right now. I said I had a good day yesterday. I don't want to give it back. And
wait for it to break.
It's just you're going to have some buyers coming in right here. It's going to have a little bit of trouble getting through this. It's got to get through all these little orders here before it's going to break through. So if it breaks through, it has some room to the downside still. But with that, take care. Thanks everybody for coming in. Remember, tomorrow's non-farm payroll Friday. So I probably will not do any trading tomorrow, but I'll be here and we can see how the market moves with those announcements at 8:30 tomorrow morning. And with then, keep your powder dry, stay safe, don't overtrade, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.